whoever is the target market for that house above and beyond the MLS. It's going to make you look like the rock star agent that you're trying to be. It's going to represent you well.
This is Spilling the Real Tea, a podcast by Sold in a Snap.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Spilling the Real Tea. I'm your host, Eric Johnson, and today's topic is why your listing photos should live beyond the MLS. Today, I have with us Danielle Fleming with Sold in a Snap. Thank you for being with us today, Danielle.
Hey, Eric. It's good to be here.
Well, I'm really excited to get into all this, but I do want to thank our sponsors for today's episode, and that is Sold in a Snap. Sold in a Snap is Central Texas' premier real estate and marketing company. They provide photos, tours, video, and marketing, everything that you need to market yourself and your listing with ease. Want to save time, wow your clients, and dominate your market? Visit soldinasnap.com and see how Sold in a Snap can elevate your business or your listing today. So Danielle, I know we're going to be talking about kind of beyond the MLS, but I want to talk about the MLS first.
Sure.
For those who may not know, or maybe you're kind of new to real estate, can you tell me more about the MLS? What does MLS stand for?
Multiple listing service.
Okay. And but this is where the homes pretty much live for real estate agents. Is that correct?
Yes. So realtors are able to access the MLS and put their houses on it, and be able to see other houses that are for sale and get all kinds of information the public even can't see, so that they can advise their clients and be able to help them make good decisions. The MLS is just a tool for realtors. So you actually can sell real estate by being a real estate agent and not being a realtor. And if you are a real estate agent, you do not have access to the MLS because that is basically a subscription through the association. And that comes with the association. And once you're part of that, then you're a realtor. Okay. So there is definitely a difference there. So not every real estate agent has access to the MLS. Okay. Most of them, almost all of them do, but there are a few people that have chosen not to be part of the association. Okay.
And I know some of our listeners are, home buyers, sellers, etc. Explain to me, what is the difference between MLS and maybe like Zillow?
So they're completely different websites, right? Sure. So the MLS is basically the portal where all of the information lives. It gets syndicated out to third-party places. Okay. So homes.com, realtor.com. Realtor.com actually owns the MLSs in a way. I'm not sure exactly the legal structure for all of that, but that is its own information. Okay. It is syndicated from there out to other places like homes.com, zillow.com, and other listing websites. So there's IDX feeds, that's the information from the MLS that gets extracted and can be hosted onto other websites, so that realtors can have their own website and you can still search for homes through their website. Okay. So that's done through an IDX feed. So anyways, the information lives in the MLS, is put there by realtors, and it is syndicated out to other places. Okay.
We're talking today about how photos, marketing, other things should go beyond the MLS. Mm-hmm. What can live in the MLS? Let's start there.
Sure.
So you had mentioned that you can put your photos in there, you can put other things in there, but what lives in the MLS that I can contribute as maybe a photographer or, maybe a real estate agent wants to upload their, their pictures or whatever?
Yeah. So that depends on the association that you're in, actually. So all of the United States has main rules, and then each smaller association as it goes down has more rules. So the state will have rules, and then your local association will have rules. So you have to abide by all of those. Okay. So you're going by the strictest rules in your area. Gotcha. Okay. So, for example, here in Waco, we have a photo maximum. Okay. So only about 40 photos can be put onto the MLS. There's also MLSs that do not allow tours or do not allow video, or the MLSs just do not display vertical photos very well.
Okay.
They distort and stretch them because everything kind of just gets filled into the space. And that depends on how it's displaying. Anyways, there's a bunch of rules and settings really that the association has that determines how your stuff is displayed, what can be displayed. So that's a question I really can't like fully answer, but you need to know what your association allows. What are the limitations for it? Like, don't put in vertical images if it's going to stretch them out and make it like look like it was horizontal and everybody's like, what is this? It just doesn't look good. And so know what your limitations are and put everything there. But there's so many times where we really want to show something that maybe the MLS doesn't allow. And what I have found is that they generally have a virtual tour link spot in the MLS. Well, we have with both our Get It Sold and Get It Branded packages comes with a website where we're hosting all of the media, the description that you could want. And so you could put that in the virtual tour spot on the MLS. And then in the actual description itself, a lot of MLSs do cap how many characters you can have in there. And so let's say you wanted to have a really long description, but it doesn't fit. You could even put ... at the end, like you'd have to save enough characters for this, but then you would say, see virtual tour link for full details. And then they know, oh, I can go there. And then the full description can be on our website, the tours, the video, the vertical images, anything that you want to include that maybe the MLS isn't good at or doesn't allow could still be seen basically through the MLS by guiding people to make sure they click that link.
Yeah, and sometimes there's so much media. I mean, if you have a 4,000, 5,000 square foot house and maybe a lot of land, you know, pools, other things that are going to require like extra stuff, like 40 pictures is not a lot of pictures, like when it comes down to
when
it,
it comes to some really big houses, 40 is definitely not enough. We've walked away from quite a few houses with 60 photos, and that may not be all just regular photos. Like we don't go in and get 60 photos of a house. That's too much because it doesn't keep the buyer's attention. But if it's a really large house, if there's a lot of interesting things, if there's a lot of land, like you said, a pool, once you add all of those plus drone, plus twilight photos, plus designer photos, plus all these other things, you're sitting at 60 photos total. And then how do you choose which ones are going to make the most impact for your 40? You do have to narrow it down for that. But then you can say, see the rest of them on the link. And then people could go that are interested and keep looking at it.
Yeah. And also, you know, there's sometimes where there's features of a house that they wouldn't traditionally be taken, like so if there's like beautiful fixtures or like a gorgeous bathtub that you want to feature, you know, independently of the rest of the stuff, you know, pictures can add up and stuff like that. So let's say we have all this stuff, like how does a realtor, you know, get those pictures to that site that you're talking about, if we're getting it branded with a marketing kit?
Yeah. So let's say you order the pictures through us, and then so obviously, you know, if you order through Sold in the Snap, you're going to have a dashboard, and in the dashboard, you'll see every house that you've ever done with us. And so you can just click that and you'll be able to access all of your media. After a while, it'll go to sleep, but you just click, you know, wake up, and then, you know, you're able to see everything again. But it's all still there. And so you're able to select whatever you want, download it, and then you have to upload it into the MLS. So you'll put in whatever you want to be in there. In our website that we provide in the Get It Sold and Get It Branded packages, you can hide images. So if you're like, nobody needs to see this photo, or I didn't like how, you know, this room was full of boxes, but I have the photo in case someone asks for it, but I don't want to post it anywhere, you can just hide it. So as a realtor, you can still see that image, but then the public cannot anymore. So you can have access to all of that, but then you can take just what you do want everyone to see, upload that into the MLS, and put in as much as you can with your limits and, you know, photo count and all of that.
So you've paid for, you know, these packages to get these pictures and whatnot. And, you know, let's say you want to upload whatever you can into the MLS. Of course, you would probably do that regardless of what you do outside of the MLS.
Of
So you
course.
want to do that. What are some other opportunities that might, enhance your marketing, visibility of the home, and all that?
Right. So if you're a realtor, you have to put it in the MLS. That's part of the rules.
Yeah.
And obviously you would want to. That's the best fiduciary responsible thing you could do for your client.
Yeah.
So you're going to want to do that. Then outside of the MLS, there's the whole World Wide Web that you can put it on. And it should go as many places as you can figure out where to put it.
Yeah.
A good job in marketing is not stopping at the MLS because you have to put it there. That means every single home is there, which is a good thing, but it also means you're not going above and beyond. That is the standard bottom thing you have to do. So yes, it goes there. That's important, but you should be putting it on social media. Really, the social media in most cases doesn't actually help sell the home, but it does market you.
Okay.
And so if for no other reason, it should be plastered all over social media. You can be posting it anywhere else that you can think of. Depending on the type of home it is, there's all kinds of other places that you can put it, especially if it's a luxury home. There's a lot of other places that are magazines or different websites, that you want to put it on. And you just want to make sure that as many people that are that home's target market can see it. So for example, if you have a home that has a special kind of feature that's going to draw a special kind of client, get it in front of those people. For example, if I shot a house with a private runway on it. I've actually shot multiple that way. If it has a private runway, put it in pilot magazines, right? Reach out to anyone that could be interested in using that. Those are the people that you need to get it in front of. If it's got amazing fishing pond, put it in fisherman's guides or whatever is going to get in front of those guys that they're going to be like, oh, this new property, I can fish from my own backyard, right? If there's something special about the property that gets a niche market, show them.
Yeah.
Put it in front of that niche market. Now, if it's a regular home, that's okay too. You can still put it in moms groups for people in that school district. You can put it in local community pages online, but you're going to want to get it in front of whoever is the target market for that house above and beyond the MLS. It's going to make you look like the rock star agent that you're trying to be. It's going to represent you well, right? So people are going to see you. They see that you're marketing houses in the area, that you're going above and beyond in a different way. That's not just putting it on the MLS. They see your name more times. They see the house. If they're interested in that, then obviously they're reaching out. If they're looking to buy houses that are similar, then you may get buyers. Like the whole thing will snowball if you're consistent with it and if your reach is wide. Put it wherever you can think of. Think outside the box for anything.
Yeah, you mentioned consistency, and I think that is a pretty big key here. Like I've seen realtors like do one awesome listing and it's like, wow, they really did a great job here. And then, kind of all of a sudden their marketing went away for the next year. And then all of a sudden, here's another one. But if you're constantly pushing and I guess if you're marketing yourself, you could, potentially use your old homes, like pictures of your old, previous properties and say let me help you find your perfect space using old pictures of, and when I say old, your previous.
Exactly. And that's exactly what you should be doing. So you had asked at the beginning, what is the MLS and what should we do beyond that? But if you're getting quality images and you're getting specific things, you're going to be able to use that in your marketing forever if you use Sold in a Snap, because there's a lot of companies that actually license the photos to you until the house is sold. And as soon as it's sold, then you can't use it anymore. But because I have been a realtor and started the company with a totally different plan for how this should work, because I want it to work best for my clients, then I made sure to have the licensing so that they can use it forever. So if you want to use pictures from a house that you sold 5 years ago, but that house was gorgeous, use them. I want you to market yourself to be able to say, post the really pretty images and say, hey, are you looking for a beautiful home like this? Let me help you find it. Or are you looking to sell a home like this? I sold this one in 5 days or, whatever. Use that in your marketing, and you can even just use it in all kinds of posts that are just, hey, did you know the market's doing this? But now you have a pretty image to go with it that no one else is using.
Yeah.
It's not a stock photo, it's yours.
Yeah.
So you're able to use these photos in your marketing forever.
Yeah. Well, and to that point, I mean, every home that we shoot has something beautiful about it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've gone into homes that have been in big disrepair, but there's some beautiful things about those homes still. And so I always feel like, regardless of how you feel about what this property is going to be, like there is great qualities in every home. And so to be able to have, this almost like catalog of gorgeous, features, the best thing of every home that you've done. And when we take these pictures, it's the best the home's ever looked.
Yeah.
And so it's really neat to be able to capture those things and to have like a catalog, like, oh, I remember this home and we sold this home, and to be able to go back to those and use that for your own branding, that's a great tool. What a powerful way to, market yourself and show that you're intentional with your clients and getting their home sold, or, finding something beautiful.
Yeah. And to be able to have all of that and in one place, right?
Yeah.
That you can go back to the system, you can find the house, you can download whatever you need. You don't have to keep it stored on your computer. You can be like, oh, wait, I shot the perfect, house for that years ago. I can go back and pull it. You can just do that. So it's a win-win.
And I do think in a place where so much is digital, we find ourselves putting, this was on this thumb drive and this was on that computer. And where did I put that one thing? But to be able to say like, everything that I have is in this one space. And you mentioned earlier, consistency is so huge.
Yes.
And so if you know consistency is huge, you know exactly where to find it, you can be consistent. You can go those places that you want to go.
Yeah. So speaking of consistency, I was talking to a realtor yesterday, and she said that she always uses us because she was using 5 different companies. And then she got a contract with a builder. And so she was having every house done for that builder. But then the builder was putting all of those on his website, and they were all next to each other. She's like, it looked like trash because they were all so different.
Yeah.
Some of them weren't as good as others. Nothing was consistent. It looked terrible. So she's like, I'm just using Sold in a Snap from now on because it's always consistent across the entire company, no matter, which house I do. They always look good. They all look good together on one spread. That's something to really think about for your marketing.
Yeah.
You're representing you by what you put out.
Yeah.
And so is your marketing consistent? Well, there's so much of that Sold in a Snap doesn't have anything to do with. But you can work on getting that consistent. And if you make sure that all of your photos are consistent, then that's really going to help overall give you a more consistent brand.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that because I can literally see photos that we do and know that it's ours before I even, look to see if it is. Like, because it's, I mean, obviously I'm a little bit biased, but they're gorgeous.
They are.
The pictures are gorgeous, and they're very, again, you capture a home or a property in its best, light, but to your point, like, every time that I see one of our pictures, I know it's one of ours, and it's gorgeous. And I'm really thankful for how we set up this consistency of photographers. We train them exactly the same to take the same pictures so that the product's going to look the same no matter what. You know?
It was really important to me, especially when it was just me shooting and editing, to find a team that could help me with my workload so that I could keep serving our clients well, but able to do it so that they would get exactly what I was going to get. So somebody wasn't upset that it wasn't me there doing it. Maybe they might like me better, or they might like the other photographer better.
Yeah.
But I didn't want them to be upset because of the quality of the work.
Sure.
I wanted that to be consistent across the whole company. And I feel like we've done a really good job of that.
So you mentioned that, you recommend that agents use these photos more than just MLS,
Yes.
right? Repurposing them for different things, marketing, or, maybe before they sell a home, maybe they're looking for listings like, let me sell your home. Like, can you give me some other examples of how an agent could repurpose these pictures
Absolutely.
before, during, and after a shoot?
Yeah. So there's so many different times that you're going to need them.
Yeah.
You're running a business, and so you need basically branding assets, and you need ones that you can use that are yours. So if you're having a whole catalog of really awesome images, then you can fill your website with them. You're going to need a header image. You're going to need the header for social media. You're going to need images for postcards. You're going to need them for flyers. You're going to need them for billboards. You're going to need them for email blasts. You're going to need them for magazines. Everywhere that you're putting yourself and marketing yourself, you're going to need an image.
Yeah.
So it works best if you can have a lot to choose from, because you're going to need different orientations and you're going to need negative space in some of them. And so if you have a lot to work with, then you're going to be able to pull what you need for the appropriate size, shape, text overlays that you need to be able to work with, so that you can put them everywhere. As our own business, I'm constantly using our own images for the same kind of things, right? We're putting it all on the website and everything. We want to make sure that we don't have a single stock image anywhere.
Yeah.
Everything is ours, right? That we put out. And I do recommend that other businesses do the same, because that's authentic, right? This is the home that I sold. This was my cousin's house. This was, somebody that I met that they're amazing and I just love this family. Like, there's a connection there. And when it's real and it looks like it's from our area, then that helps build that authenticity and trust, right? That people need when they come to your site, or you mail them a postcard or whatever, and they see that. If you mail me a postcard with an image that looks like AI, first of all, nobody is liking that right now, because it's too much, right? In our faces. So we don't like that. But if it looks fake, or if it doesn't look like it's from here, or if it just looks like I bought a stock image off of wherever, you don't trust it as much. If it looks like, hey, this was your neighbor's house that I actually helped sell, and it's an image from that house, people are going to trust you and they're actually going to use you more.
Well, I think it feels good, like it feels good to see, like, I remember that house.
Right.
I was proud of this moment.
Yeah.
Because typically we lean into those things where it feels, like something that you either accomplished or something that you were proud of. That's how we market ourselves. And to be able to say, like, well, this was this is my first home. It was the first property that I sold. What if that's the choice that you make, or, maybe you take a data desk image that we've taken and, something that you just like, this was just such a beautiful image. I just wanted this to be a part of my branding. So I think that's a really good point.
Yeah. Well, and take those opportunities, right? So if you have a house that is especially a higher end, beautiful home, or is well decorated, it can be a very small bungalow and it can still look stunning inside when you've got it properly staged.
Yeah.
If you have the opportunity to have something that is going to photograph well, use that opportunity. Get the extras so that you have those brand assets so that you can use them for later. I strongly recommend, if anything is going to work and look good for designer photos, to get them. Less than 15% of houses get designer photos.
Yeah.
And those are close-up features that are like magazine style quality photos of a home, of a feature of the home. Now, generally, we're not going to focus on staging type stuff. We're going to focus on something that comes with the home. But if you're in a house that you're like, I really want the couch in this picture or whatever with this negative space, because I know I can use it in my marketing, tell us. We're happy to get that so that you can save that and keep using it. And that can kind of be, your image that is different from everyone else's. So plan ahead when you have those kind of properties. what assets do you want from them so that you have those that you can use again and again, like I said, for years to come.
Yeah, that is such a good point. And I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, understanding what you need for a particular property, I think is
Mhm.
super important. So,
Mhm.
so what would you say then? Let's say I'm a new realtor kind of starting out and I'm looking at
Mhm.
maybe doing a photo package. Like, where should I start with it? Like, what's too much? What's not enough? Like,
Mhm.
what do I do here?
Yeah, so if the goal is to market the listing and market yourself, which that should be the goal
Yeah.
for every single listing that you get because you don't want to waste an opportunity. If that's the plan, then you need to sit down and say, what is my brand? Because you're going to need a basic, this is what I'm going to get on every house because that's how I want to be represented, right? So
Mhm.
you need to sit down and say, these are the things that I want to do. And then for bigger listings, ones with land, ones with, different views, ones that are really large, ones that are really high end and have a lot of designer things. Those houses you can add to that, but there should always be the basic.
Yeah.
I created the Get It branded package with very specific intentions. So it's really for anyone that wants to brand themselves and really get their listing sold quickly.
Mhm.
It comes with photos, our marketing kit, and our higher tier editing. But it also comes with a whole slew of other things for a purpose. Every single thing in there has a reason for it to be in there. So, for example, it has a Zillow tour. The Zillow tour itself, if done before the house goes live, gives a boost on the market, gives a boost for the first 7 days that house is on the market all over Zillow. It is standing out everywhere on Zillow.
Okay.
There's a bunch of different ways that it's like popping out for people to see it. So you're getting way more eyeballs on it because of the listing. But the Zillow tour also comes with a floor plan. And the floor plan was the second most requested media by buyers in the last NAR report. So you already hitting two birds with one stone with that. It comes with a reel, which reels are the most successful way to get people to see you and have you grow your brand. They get 10 times more views online than photos do. So having that reel is really going to help you grow your business. It comes with a drone photo. The drone photo is going to help people get their bearings. It's going to also set you apart. Not every house has a drone photo. And that also comes with a day to dusk photo, which is a daytime photo that we edit to look like it was taken at twilight time. And so they look really nice. And if used as the first image on the MLS, then it gets a 60% higher click-through rate. So that package is designed to make the house sell faster for more money and give you the branding that you need in order to really push yourself. Now, if it's a really beautiful home and there's opportunities for designer photos, I strongly recommend going ahead and getting those because, again, those are going to set you apart in a totally different way and be really good branding assets for you to use later.
How many designer photos do you recommend in a home?
So it depends on the house. We sell them in packages of 5. Generally, people get 5 or 10, but there's definitely been some homes that they've ordered 15 and I could have taken more.
Yeah.
Because some of them are just so stunning. But if you especially have something in mind that you need it for, like tell us. If you're like, this is for my website or this is for a postcard, it helps us know like what is the orientation? Do they need the negative space? Like how to set up the photo so that we get you the actual asset that you need.
Yeah.
We can go in and just capture the most stunning things of the home. And you're definitely going to be able to use those for social media. But if you're only using Instagram, that needs to be square.
Yeah.
And so many of the images actually don't look good square. So I need to know ahead of time if this needs to be square so that I can compose the image so that it will look right that way.
Yeah.
So just knowing ahead of time what the goal is from those images will really help, but we can always get beautiful images that you can use in a lot of different ways.
Yeah. So this is for Get It branded for designer photos. but we have a couple other packages that get it sold, the get it listed. When would you recommend I use like the lowest package? And the lowest package is still amazing.
Yes.
But when would I use that compared to a get it branded?
Yeah, so that's a photos only package. That's going to be for when there's not enough commission to, justify anything more, right? Or if it's a house that may be torn down, if it's just a basic house, if it, doesn't have anything spectacular that we need to feature, that we just need to make sure that this house is well represented and that you have the photos you need, and that's all. So it's for anything that the budget is small, right?
Yeah.
But that you still want to stay consistent, right?
Yeah.
Because you're making sure that you still at least provided beautiful images that show the house in its best light and match everything else in your branding, right? So the get it sold is that, the get it sold comes with more photos, and it comes with our marketing kit. It also comes with some enhanced editing. So all of that's labeled on the website, but you're going to want to get it sold in most cases because of just the price range of houses and the quality of most houses. That would be kind of your basic package for most houses. And then again, if you want to really take it to the next level, you can add on things individually, or you can go ahead and just get the get it branded. The get it branded does have a discount for bundling it in that way.
Yeah. You mentioned some drone stuff. Now we offer like video, like drone video and stuff like that. When would I decide to use something like that? And where would I put these videos?
So I would recommend land listings get the drone videos, right? So if it's a large property, or if there's something particularly interesting, cinematic, beautiful, something about it that is going to video well. If I have a 5-acre field of grass, a drone video is going to be very boring. But if I have, a drive that's got trees down the whole thing and we can, fly through there, or if it's got water tanks and live wildlife, or, flowers or crops, and especially if it has all of those, or we even have had some that have cliffs. And, if it's got something interesting, let's get a video of it.
Like coming down a river and then up onto the property and flying by it.
We can do some really beautiful stuff with that. But if you just have a field of grass or dirt or something, like just even like a crop of corn, like that's not going to make a very nice video. But you're going to want to put those again everywhere that is going to appeal to that kind of buyer. So if the video has fishing stuff in it, or if it has hunting, or if it has orchards or groves of some kind, put it in front of the people that are going to be interested in that niche. Because like at the and you can't upload videos like that to MLS, is that right? And depending on MLS, I'm assuming not all of them will let you upload those videos. Right. It just depends on what they allow to be uploaded. You can also use these videos as the header on your website and have that kind of behind the text when people show up, and it looks really dynamic and good. So, anyways, you can use them to help market in your own marketing, but also obviously those are really good for marketing the property.
Well, Danielle, I really appreciate this conversation. What, before we end today's segment, is there any last thoughts or anything that you want to leave our listeners before we sign off?
Yeah, I just think that you making sure that you get the media when you have the opportunity to. If you have a really great listing, don't let that go by without getting what you need for you. Like this is, yes, it's to help sell the home, but if it's going to help you to have this media that's yours for years to come, just get it. Make sure that you grab that while you have that opportunity, because beautiful listings don't come every day. Right? We have a lot of regular listings that are beautiful in their own way. But if you have something spectacular, make sure you're capitalizing on that so that you can represent yourself really well.
Well, Danielle, thanks again so much for being on the show today.
Of course.
You guys, we'll have Danielle's information in the show notes below, as well as Sold and Snap. And if you have questions or anything that you want to ask about our services or anything more on marketing your business, I'm sure that we can help you out with that. Just contact our offices and we'll do the best we can for you. So before we leave today, though, I do want to say this week's tip of the week, which is don't let your listing photos expire when the property goes under contract or sells. Create a content library from every shoot and use those images in social media posts, email newsletters, market updates, listing presentations, Google business profile posts, and your website. The agents who consistently showcase their work stay top of mind with future buyers and sellers long after the transaction is complete. Once again, we'd like to thank our sponsor for today, which is the Doors of Waco. Step into the story of Waco, one door at a time. The Doors of Waco is a beautifully crafted coffee table book featuring stunning photography and the hidden character behind some of Waco's most iconic entrances. Whether displayed in your home, office, Airbnb, or gifted to a client, it's a meaningful way to showcase a love for Waco. It also makes the perfect closing gift for realtors looking to give something local, memorable, and lasting. Open the door to your copy today at thedoorsofwaco.com. Thanks again for joining us today, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
And that's today's pour. Thanks for spilling the real tea with us. Don't forget to follow the podcast so you don't miss the next hot pour of real estate talk. And remember, this is just the tea, not legal, real estate, or financial advice.